Hello and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel. If you're returning, thank you as always for being here. I have some minis for spring today, so let's go ahead and get right on into the crafting. DIY number one. Okay, I am starting out with Canva. If you are not familiar with Canva, it is a wonderfully easy, I'm going to call it graphic design software program that is free. I happen to have the pro version, but the free version is fantastic as well. They've got a lot of pre-designed templates that you can choose from. I am just looking for a flyer only because it's easier for me to just find something that's already 8.5 by 11 rather than trying to find the something with dimensions. Anyway, you can see that select multiple little thing there in the middle. Yeah, I hadn't found it. And so I started deleting all the elements off of here one by one. You might want to do yourself a favor and click on select multiple, and then you can click on all of them and hit delete once and be done with it. But once I got this all cleared away, and by the way, I'm doing this on my cell phone. If I were on my laptop doing it, it would have been a lot easier for me to highlight them all and delete them anyway. But it is very easy to use this application on your phone as well if you have a smartphone, so you can do it either way. But essentially I'd gone into elements and I am searching on spring to see what comes up, and you can see all of these cute little designs. They have actual photos in here, they have clip art. Anything you could possibly imagine, you can probably find it in here. You can also upload your own pictures and designs and use them in Canva as well. So I am not an affiliate with Canva, but I can't say enough about it. I use it all the time. I love it. So I am just going to put some cute little designs on my page here. I'm going to size them down a bit. Again, keeping in mind that this is an 8.5 by 11 page that I'm working with. Totally forgot that my Hippo water slide paper that I'm going to be using for these projects was a size A4 paper. Fortunately, I'd given myself some good margins on the sides there, and so it wasn't a problem when I went to print it on my printer. But I am just going to be adding some words now. You can add text. They've got all different kinds of fonts. I ended up with, I think it's called Playbill script there at the bottom, and just going to add in some words to say welcome spring. So I've got my welcome in that script font, and then I will do the spring in more of an all caps kind of it wasn't really a block font, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. But I'm just going to move it over to be with that little umbrella. I thought that that was a cute little look. I'm just going to grab that heading font there that you can see kind of towards the top and use that one for spring. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually manipulate the images in the software here. So as I put my words over that, I felt like the picture was a little bit too dark. So I wanted my words to be able to pop while still being able to see that picture. So I'm going to grab it in just a second, and I am going to work on adjusting it. They literally have a tool in here called Adjust. You might see it down there at the bottom, but I am able to look at all different kinds of filters. I tried one of them out and decided that wasn't really the look I was going for, so I went back to the normal, and then I scrolled through until I found vintage. And this was exactly what I was looking for. It just kind of faded it out while maintaining the integrity of the look that I was going for. So once I got it all sized the way that I wanted, I did find that select multiple button finally, and I went ahead and grouped these together so that they are now one image, and I can move them around together as one. I can resize them as one, and they will remain all relative to each other. So I continued to go back to the elements page and pull in other elements that I thought were pretty. I just continued to move them around on the page. I do like to fill my page, even if I don't anticipate using all of the elements in that moment. I like to maximize what I can get printed on a page just so that I am saving materials. So that is essentially what I'm doing here. I did actually end up using almost everything that I put on here. Not quite all of it, but I think all but maybe a couple of the little vines that I found. I was super excited about the vines. You're going to see them in just a second. They reminded me of the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers that were so popular a while back. Here they are. So I liked that a lot and ended up putting a bunch of them on here, just kind of filling in some of the gaps and the white space that I had. The key is I just want to make sure I have enough room around things that I can cut them out easily. So now I'm going to go ahead and upload my image. I'm downloading my image as a ping file. It will actually print them for you. I mean, obviously that's offsite. I opted to print it at home. Here it is. Now, it did curl up on me. This might be because I had forgotten that this particular water slide paper is meant for inkjet printers. I printed it on a laser printer. I was a little nervous about how it might turn out. It actually ended up working beautifully, so I will not hesitate to print it on my LaserJet again. Just be aware that if you print it on a LaserJet, it might curl up on you like this. So now I've got my matte finish Aleene's spray. This is going to protect the design. So sprayed that on there. You are supposed to give it 3 light coats. In between coats, I did blow dry it with my heat gun. And I did do 3 light coats, drying it in between. Once I was done with that, I made sure that it was dry. And I'm just going to pull it up and go set it aside so that it can sit a little bit longer while I prep my first surface. So this is a wooden butterfly that I've had in my stash for some time. I have quite a number of them. And I am going to give it a couple of good coats of my Adirondack white chalk paint. So I mentioned that I'm going to be using the water slides on all of the projects today, but I'm going to be using different media, so different types of surfaces for the water slides so you can see how versatile they are. You don't have to use water slides for all these projects. In fact, there's one in particular that I was wishing I had thought through a little bit better. But I think you can really use water slides. Oh, and I'm going to coat my butterfly with that same spray because chalk paint is an acrylic paint, which is water soluble. And I have tried putting these over chalk paint in the past. And I wasn't super thrilled with the way it came out that first time. And I figured, you know what, let me spray it with the clear coat is essentially what that is. It's a matte clear coat, and see if that makes a difference. And I am super happy with the results. But I'm trying to remember what I was starting to tell you before. Oh, so water slides, you can use them on virtually any hard surface. I think the only things you really can't work with them on are like fabric. And as I will demonstrate in a little bit, paper is probably not ideal for water slides. I made it work. You're going to have to stay tuned to see what I did. But yeah. So generally any hard surface, they are great on ceramic, they're great on glass, not dishwasher safe though, I will put that out there. And if you are going to put it on a mug or something, you want to just make sure that you seal it with a Mod Podge and that you hand wash and don't ever soak it. I made the mistake of leaving one of my mugs that had water slides on it that I absolutely loved in the sink, and it ended up getting soaked and the water slides came right off. And I had sealed it with dishwasher safe Mod Podge. Okay, so once I had all my designs cut out and arranged on my butterfly the way I wanted them, I had grabbed my little garden dish from my stash. This is a Dollar Tree garden dish. I put about an inch of water in the bottom of it, and I am going to start to soak my water slide pieces. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the surface there too, because that's going to help it slide around until I have it positioned exactly where I want it. So it gives you a lot of room for just making sure you've got it where you want your design. I am just kind of waiting for it to start sliding. I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to work with the laser printer because it took longer to be ready than I had remembered. I would say it was probably a good minute for it to soak in that water, and then it was ready to go, and it slid right off the backing. And you can see how it's sliding around on my surface. It's because there is that water underneath it. So yeah, I love this. They're kind of like wet stickers. So now I'm using just a piece of paper towel to kind of very gently squeegee the water out of it. It looks like I'm pressing on it here in the video, but I am not. I am not pressing. It's just a very light stroke, just making sure that the water is coming out from underneath and that it is adhering to the surface. I'm going to go ahead and get my next one in. You see me holding them down a little bit, especially the larger images. You're going to want to make sure that they don't curl up on each other, or they honestly can become a little bit of a mess in your water tray, because they will stick to each other if they curl up on each other. So up on themselves, I should say. So I'm just going to repeat this process with all of the little elements that I opted to put on my butterfly. I think these little ducks are so cute. I wanted to put the other duck on here too, but he was just a little bit too big, so I'm going to save him for another project. I hadn't even thought of the other project when I was cleaning or creating this one. I was just kind of crafting on the fly and trying to come up with things as I went, because these little spring images make me so happy. I am so ready for sunny, warm weather. We've been getting a ton of rain here in New Jersey where I live, and I need sunshine. I am ready for the sunshine. So hopefully it'll be right around the corner. But let me know how things are in your corner of the world. Do you have sunshine and warm weather, or are you dealing with cold and dreary stuff like I've got here? But I'm just patting all of that down, getting them situated. And that's going to be that for the designs. Super pretty. I love it. I did also give it a coat of the matte spray again, just to seal that all in. And now I'm going to create a stand for it, because this is something I want to put on my tiered tray. And those little pieces are remnants of paint sticks from projects long ago. Y'all, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know I keep everything. I save everything. So when I had cut off some paint sticks and had these little bits and pieces, I stuck them in my stash. And here is why. So I've got my Star Bond super glue here. I'm going to put a couple of dots there. And then that spray can up at the top right that I set on my table, that's not the matte spray. That is a Star Bond instant adhesion spray. Basically, you put the instant glue, the super glue, on the one surface, you spray the other with the bond adhesive. It's not a sticky adhesive, it's just something that activates the super glue right away, and it makes it bond instantly. But let me know what you think. DIY number 2. Okay, I have a little piece of wood that came in a pack of 6 from the Dollar Tree, and I've got my pool chalk paint by Waverly. I'm going to give this a couple of good coats of the chalk paint. I love this color. It's almost like a robin's egg blue kind of shade, but again, it's called Pool. Very, very pretty and springy. And once I have that all dry, I'm going to be ready to move on. Of course, I keep helping everything with my little heat gun, but I'm going to use that welcome spring that we designed in Canva just before. I'm going to cut that out. I do try to trim it up pretty close to the design while leaving a little bit of a border, just so that I don't end up having any kind of frayed edges. I think the best practice is to just make sure you have a little bit of a margin around your little elements. So same deal here, gonna just set it down, hold on to the one end of it, slide the backing out, and now I can just get it arranged, make sure that it's where I want it, and then I'll grab up my piece of paper towel. I'm just gonna kind of blot it there, and then I can squeegee it very gently, very lightly. You don't want to rub on it. And just make sure that it is where I want it to be. Now I've got another little piece of paint stick that I'm going to glue to the back of my piece, just like I did the last time with my Star Bond. Just add the activator spray on there and set that down, and it is bonded instantly. And now I'm going to take the pool chalk paint again, and I'm just going to give that little kickstand a coat of paint so that it matches the rest of the piece. And that is going to be it for this one. These are super quick and easy. You know, honestly, the hardest part about water slides is creating the design for them. Once you have them printed, everything is really fast and easy to use. DIY number 3. All right, now I have a little metal bucket from the Dollar Tree. I've had this in my stash for a while, just waiting for a project like this. I am going to be using 2 of the water slides now. I've got this pretty flower frame that I'm going to cut out and apply, and then we're going to use that cute little duckling that I was talking about earlier. I think he's adorable. So gonna get this ready. I'm gonna hold that down in there because this is a larger water slide and I don't want it to curl up on itself because it will stick to itself and make a little bit of a mess and I won't be able to get it apart again. I've learned that from experience. So once I've got that ready to go through the magic of editing software, I was able to speed up that process. I'm going to go ahead and slide it off of its sheet. I love, love, love these. Just make sure I've got it all lined up, and then I'll grab my paper towel again and start squeegeeing it out. With this one, it did keep wanting to move on me. I kept having to make sure that that I had it lined up properly. I kept with my paper towel slightly, sending it off kilter, and I wanted to make sure that it remained straight and centered. And so I did end up having to hold the side of it while I was running the paper towel over other parts of it, just so that I made sure that it didn't end up going a little bit wonky. But once I had it all laid out and ready to go, I am going to put the little duckling right over top of it. Now you might have noticed that I left the entire middle of that hole. I don't think that it would have been wise to try to cut out the middle. I think it is much more stable having left it as one piece. And here's my little duckling with his flowers. I think this is so super cute. Imagine creating this for a little person, child, son or daughter, grandchild, for Easter or something like that. Oh my goodness, it just makes my heart so happy. I'm actually going to be putting flowers in this for my tiered tray, but I just think this is adorable, honestly. All right, so cute. But here are the irises that I pulled out of my stash, and I'm just going to trim them down. I only had 4 of the blooms left. I had cut apart a couple of picks already a long time ago for a different project. So I just had the 4 blooms, which I would have loved to have had a couple of extras, but it worked out just fine. I just continued to futz with them until I got them to the proper length. I trimmed off a couple of those stems a little bit more here and there. And then because they were flopping a little bit more than I wanted them to, I did grab some green twine out of my stash and I tied off the bottoms there. You can see me. I just wrapped it around 3 or 4 times around the stems and then just tied a knot. And that was it. And then I'm going to go ahead and tuck them back in there. I did end up bending the wire bottoms outward a little bit so that they would sit a little bit lower and a little bit more stable. And I think this is precious, but you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, and then I did just tuck in a little bit of extra greenery, and that was it. DIY number 4. Okay, so I've got my craft paper. So I guess this is technically scrapbook paper or just regular craft paper, I suppose, but they are 12 by 12 sheets. And then I have some white cardstock and another water slide. This is the project where I said, you know what? Probably better not to use a water slide with this project. I mean, it turned out really cute. I love the end result, but yeah, we're working with paper, and think about what happens when paper gets wet. Fortunately, I did have a cardstock here that was a little bit hardier up against the water. But I have a couple of pieces of glass here that I had taken out of frames quite some time ago. I had used the frames for something else that didn't require the glass. So I had kept the glass in my stash and I am using it now. I'm going to create kind of like a sandwich frame. So I've got 2 pieces of this glass. And then I cut down, obviously, the scrapbook paper to be the same size as the glass. I'm measuring my water slide here to create a white backing because I didn't want to put the water slide directly onto the pink and white polka dotted paper. It was just too busy. It needed to have a background. So I've got a solid white background here that I'm going to attempt to apply my water slide to. So here was my first mistake. I didn't apply water first because I knew it was paper and I was like, oh, I better try and keep this as dry as possible. But then I didn't have it lined up properly. And because I didn't put water on it, it wasn't sliding. As soon as I pulled out that backing, it was stuck to that paper. And so I did have a little bit of it on the top that was going a little bit off. You know what? If I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't have noticed. But you can also see that it is not straight on here. So I worked on getting it dry with my my heat gun. And now I am just going to trim it all up largely so that it doesn't look like it's crooked. So I got that trimmed up and now I'm ready to put it together. I'm just going to set down that image and put the other piece of glass over top. I probably should have used a little bit of double-sided tape to secure it, but I figured, you know what, being sandwiched in here, it was probably going to be fine. So far, it has been fine, but if you want to make sure that it's not going to slide around inside of there, I do recommend using a little bit of double-sided tape. So now I'm just using some hot glue to seal this. Keep in mind, this is sped up, so I did wait several seconds before I ran my fingers over that hot glue. I did not burn myself. I just want to make sure you know I'm being very careful. I do recommend finger protectors. I work with hot glue a lot. And so I guess I'm kind of used to working with it. I do have my finger protectors. I'm just really bad about wearing them. If I know that I'm going to have to get super close to the hot glue while it is still lava hot, I do wear my finger protectors because it does hurt a lot when you burn yourself with hot glue. So just please be mindful and careful of that. So I got it all sealed in there, and then I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to trim away some of the hot glue that was kind of oozing over. The neat thing about hot glue with glass is that if you make a mistake or if you want to change it up later on, you can just peel it away. So that is why I'm using the X-Acto knife instead of trying to peel it off, because I don't want to remove all of the glue. I just want to remove the parts of the glue that are not where I want them. All right, so now it just needs a stand. I grabbed 4 of my large wooden beads out of my stash, and we are going to kind of sandwich the beads on either side of the glass to create a stand. I added them to a skewer, and I'm just painting them with my Adirondack white chalk paint. I have seen people put these in like little baggies with some paint and kind of smoosh them around and get them painted that way. I prefer to do it this way because I just feel like I end up wasting a lot of paint otherwise. But if you prefer the other method, it's definitely cleaner for your fingers. So you do you 100%. I am giving this a blow dry again, or a heat dry, however you want to say it. Once I had them dry, I was ready to apply them. I just love this project. I think it was super cute. But again, it doesn't need to be water slide. If you don't have water slide paper and have no intention of purchasing it, you can certainly create these images, or not images, these projects, by just printing off the images on regular paper, cutting them out, and you could Mod Podge them, right? So there are so many different things that you can do with this. It doesn't have to be water slides. I just happened to decide that I wanted to do it because I hadn't worked with it in a while, and I just thought it might be fun. So here we've got the little wooden beads adhered. I did put the ones on the back a little bit higher up so that they would the whole thing would lean backwards on those a little bit. So I am reinforcing them. The ones in the front are really more for visual appeal than structure. And here we are with the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the projects, please remember to give me a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know which one was your favorite. And until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.